Hello, my name is Medon. I am a PhD candidate at the State University of Rio de Janeiro and a professor at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. I am the author of the book Artificial Intelligence and Civil Liability. The main goal of this short presentation is to demonstrate how, in spite of all its benefits, artificial intelligence can cause severe damages in society, which explains the importance of updating the traditional civil liability schemes. Progress usually comes along with some risk of destruction. Therefore, our task is to prevent and reduce the harmful capabilities of technology, such as those associated with artificial intelligence, or as we commonly call it, AI. Each day more, AI brings new inventions to society, which can enhance human activities, such as driving. Autonomous vehicles are a great example. Experts believe that they can reduce the accident rates all over the world, and it is not hard to understand why. Given that most of the accident causes are human related, replacing human drivers by AI algorithms could mean safer driving, since algorithms do not fall asleep, are not tired, and do not get distracted. Nevertheless, new risks may arise, and we already have many cases of accidents caused by driverless cars, which demonstrate how this is a pressing issue. These risks are associated with the so-called AI's autonomy, which is purely technological. Due to AI techniques such as machine learning, algorithms start to gain some sort of independence from its programmers, developers, and designers. It becomes then harder and harder to predict the next steps the machine will take and how it will perform. Taking the autonomous vehicles as an example, we can imagine that the algorithm might believe that it is in front of a tree instead of a person, and then collides with the human victim. Another commonly acknowledged risk associated with artificial intelligence is bias and discrimination in algorithms, which can be extremely hazardous when they take place in automated decisions. Each day more, important decisions which used to be taken by humans are being delegated to opaque algorithms, which usually reproduce existing bias in society, such as racial and gender ones, denying historically disadvantaged and vulnerable groups their full participation in society. And there are many reasons for that. The most common is the poor quality of data, since, as pointed out by Solon Baracus and Andrew Selbst, an algorithm is only as good as the data it works with. Undoubtedly, transparency ought to be encouraged, but that is not enough. Diversity should also be taken into the codes by what Professor Anupan Chander calls algorithmic affirmative action. But how can we tackle this issue? Is civil liability our best tool? Before anything, we must not forget Professor Jack Balkin's reminder that our interactions with robots and AI systems are interactions with the people who are deploying these new technologies, even when we do not realize it. Hence, we must take enormous care not to allow that the real causes of damages start to hide behind artificial intelligence. Secondly, we should work to promote the ethical development of AI and proper testing, which could happen, for instance, by encouraging regulatory sandboxes. The precautionary principle also plays a major role in this scenario. But if our efforts should fail, then we must call civil liabilities regimes into action, and we must consider that AI poses a real challenge to civil liability due to factors such as its complexity, autonomy, limited explainability, unpredictability, and the fact that multiple actors contribute to its design. And if many subjects act, who should be liable? Should the users be liable? The producers? The sellers? The developers? The designers? Some may argue that creating electronic personalities, an e-personality, could be the best answer. But that does not seem the best solution so far. Liability insurance may play a larger role here, depending on the autonomy of that artificial intelligence in particular. The main concern here is that legislators try to regulate activities without considering the concrete risks associated with each AI. And that is of paramount importance, since each AI is different. Consequently, the risks show to be different. One must consider then three aspects, which I have outlined in my book. The parties involved. Who are the parties? Are we talking about a consumer, producer? The type of AI. That's the second. And the third, its autonomy, which may alter the risks involved and therefore the civil liability regime. Not taking this into account could jeopardize victims' full compensation for the damages they suffer. And that's not something we want. Finally, we should work globally, sharing our discoveries, since every voice matters. The bonds we create can shorten distance and promote a better future to us all, leaving no one behind. Thank you so much for your attention. Please find me on LinkedIn or Instagram. My profile is philippe.medon.